You know that feeling when something in your life is just off, but you can't for the life of you figure out why? Well, today we're diving into the work of a feng shui practitioner who uses numbers to diagnose a home's energy. And according to him, the answers to some of our biggest problems might be hiding right under our noses, inside our own homes.
It all starts with questions just like this one. And it's a story he says he hears all the time. Picture this. Your career's on fire, you finally move into that beautiful new house you've always wanted, and then, bam, everything starts to go downhill. You're just left scratching your head wondering what went wrong.
Or maybe it hits a little closer to home. Your partner is just constantly sick. You've seen every doctor, you've run every test imaginable, and they all come back saying the same thing. Everything looks normal. It's incredibly frustrating, right? Especially when you know something is clearly wrong. And then there's this one. A relationship that was rock solid suddenly starts to crumble right after you move into a new place together. You try talking it out, maybe even go to therapy, but it feels like there's this tension you just can't shake, like it's in the walls themselves. These are huge, life-altering problems, and there are no obvious answers. So this practitioner we're looking at, he bundles all these experiences together. He calls it the unexplained housing problem. It's that nagging feeling that your own home, the place that's supposed to be your sanctuary, is somehow working against you. And here's where it gets really interesting. His core idea is that these things aren't just a string of bad luck. They're not coincidences. He believes there's a tangible, underlying reason for all these struggles, and that the cause is located right there, in the very structure and energy of your home. Okay, so how do you even begin to understand something like that? The framework he uses is feng shui, but, and this is really key, he strips away all the complicated, mystical jargon and makes it really, really direct. That's it. To him, feng shui is simply your house energy. He's not talking about religion or superstition. He presents it as a practical system, a tool for analyzing the environment you live in and seeing how it's actually affecting you every single day. And this isn't some new age trend he just cooked up. He's quick to point out that feng shui has a history that goes back more than 5,000 years. From his perspective, something doesn't stick around for that long unless there's something to it, right? He uses this brilliant analogy to explain his role. He says, imagine you're renovating a house without a general contractor. You've got the plumber, the electrician, the designer, all giving you different, conflicting advice. It's a total mess. He sees himself as that general contractor, but for your house's energy, the one guy who can look at the big picture and give you one single, clear answer. So how does he diagnose the issue? He uses the specific technique he calls the number divination method. He presents it as a diagnostic tool, a way to get insight and pinpoint the root of the problem quickly and directly. And the process itself is surprisingly straightforward. A person comes to him with a question about their job, their health, their business, whatever. He then uses a little spinner to generate a number, and that number, he claims, holds the message. It's like a key that unlocks a specific insight into the home's energy and reveals what needs to be done. So the crucial point here is that this is framed as an alternative path for when you've hit a dead end. You've seen the doctors, you've talked to the therapists, but the problem is still there. This is presented as a way to look outside those conventional boxes to find an answer. Now this is where it gets really specific. He gives several concrete examples of how this all works, connecting these major life problems directly to actual physical features of a property. He shares this story about his own relatives. They got an amazing deal on a house. And why was it so cheap? Because the previous owner, who had been really successful, suddenly went bankrupt and had to sell fast. You have to wonder, right? What happened there? So his diagnosis was this: a misplaced water fountain. The previous owner likely put it there to attract wealth, but according to this practitioner, its specific location actually activated a negative energy that, he claims, led directly to the owner's financial ruin. And he gives a bunch of other fascinating examples, like if a house is missing its northwest corner, he says the man of the house will just never be home. Got artificial flowers? He claims they can invite infidelity into a relationship. It even applies to businesses. Things like the direction of your door or where you put the payment counter could be the hidden reason you're losing customers and money. So what's the big takeaway here? This whole framework offers a totally different perspective. It suggests that when we're facing these challenges that just won't go away, the root cause might not be some personal failing or just plain old bad luck. Instead, it might be our environment, our homes, our offices that really needs to be adjusted.
And this really leaves us with a provocative thought, doesn't it? It pushes us to consider that the spaces we live in might have a much deeper influence on our lives than we ever imagined. So when the conventional answers fail, it makes you wonder, where else might we look for the root cause of our problems?